This is the Pop Tournaments podcast. In Pop Tournaments, we take a category of pop culture and let you, the fans, vote on matchups in a single elimination tournament format to determine an ultimate champion. We are here to discuss those results and the upcoming matchups. Thanks to our great community and everybody who votes, let's start the show. Hello, and welcome. Welcome back to the Pop Tournaments podcast. It is March 8th, 2021. We are one of a million podcasts attempting all of those copyright laws. Any songs you guys want to sing right off the bat? Well, nobody's listening. Neil Young... Neither Neil Young or Neil Diamond is going to come after us. So if you want to belt out a few bars, just
Ryan's a karaoke king there. So
I've been to Hollywood. I've been to Redwood. I crossed the ocean for a heart of gold.
You know what? We might have to record a new theme song for the podcast. Get Ryan in on those amazing vocals. That was perfect, by the way. I honestly like
Jimmy Fallon. Who?
I've been to Jimmy. I've been to Fallon. It's been a weird one. Sorry, we're off to a weird start. It is March 8th, and we are back talking to you once again. We have Ryan Barrett.
What's happening, everybody?
We've got Jennifer Schmidt.
Hi, friends.
Unfortunately, you've also got me, Jake Wicker.
AKA Onion Head.
AKA Jesus Boy.
It's so crazy. Like I was almost about to put in the copy for today's episode. I was almost going to say, like, hey, if you could give yourself a nickname, what would it be? And here you give me another nickname. I will probably from henceforth be known as Onion Head.
Do you know what that is? That's the real name of Slimer from Ghostbusters.
Oh, really?
Like, Slimer was like the name that everybody gave him after the fact or something. But like his actual name in the script is Onion Head. I think that's how it goes. But Slimer's name is Onion Head.
Okay, well, Slimer is a way better name.
It is way better. Onion Head's a terrible name. Doesn't make any sense. Maybe Hot Dog Head.
This is a no-lie situation. I honestly, I was going to bring this up because these are my two best friends. I was going to bring this up before we started recording and say, hey, you guys got to take a look at this because it's not going to come up on the podcast. But somehow, Ryan, you've made it come up. So for all of our YouTube watchers out there, the gift from my wonderful, beautiful girlfriend, Kaylee, was a... Ghostbusters.
Oh, perfect!
I ain't afraid of no ghost.
That is a great shirt. It was funny.
A great shirt.
I actually did see just the top of it, so I figured that was. I just saw "Ain't Afraid," so I figured that was the Ghostbusters shirt. That is what kickstarted the Onion Head thing. It wasn't completely random.
Oh, see, you almost got mixed up with my other shirt that says "Ain't afraid of no East Coast West Coast battle."
It says ain't afraid of no onions in my cooking.
that also. I was just trying to reference my Tupac Biggie Smalls t-shirt. They got along in real life. Come on. Hello, welcome. That got weird.
That was a weird 4 minutes.
Really quick. Yeah. I hope everybody's doing well. It's been a week since we've talked to everybody. Ryan, what have you been up to? What's been going on?
It was a crazy week at work. For everybody listening here locally, you kind of know this is the week that spring has sprung, aka patio week in Minnesota or in the Twin Cities, where all of a sudden it like you start fielding calls, and it was in with a vengeance, and it was basically like, you know, one of those like hell weeks for me where it was just like every day was just push me to my limit of like mental capacity. I kind of thought I was going to pass out a couple times. And by the end it was like somebody asked me like, how are you doing? And I said, physically C-, mentally also C-.
And just to make it clear to everybody, it was patio week. I ate out on a patio. It was like 52 degrees.
Yeah.
So, and that's what Minnesotans in springtime are like, oh my God, this is amazing weather. Yeah. We're like losing our minds for like the high 40s, low 50s, yeah. Whereas other places would be like, it is so cold, this is winter.
It is and funny like though. We had to say, because this is absolutely what happens. We had to tell people like, yeah, we can seat you on the patio. The only rule is you can't move inside after you sit on the patio.
Yeah.
Because that's also part of it is like, I think people get really anxious to sit outside when it hits 46 degrees and they sit outside for 15 minutes and they're like, okay, it is kind of cold. Maybe we should go back inside.
Yeah. It is. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. There's sometimes not a lot of thinking ahead. And I really hope, and I'm going to try to not make this a continuing remark, but I just really hope people are being very considerate and thinking of others in these situations, because I think we're all really, really trying hard for each other to make things a little more normal, give the people what they want and the service they want. But, let's try to be kind. Yeah, it sounds like it was a really busy week at work. Did you get any sort of free time or
no, but
any sort of mental break?
I mean, not really. We watched some TV and stuff, just kind of
rehash
fluff. I would love to really bro down with Jenny about RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yes.
Now that we're really into the thick of the season.
Now it's when like the really good people start going home. Like,
yeah.
There's always a good 4 or 5 where you're like, okay, like these people are clearly not making it like to the end, so it's just like what order they're all going home in.
Exactly.
But then once you get to like Snatch Game, did you watch the Snatch Game episode? Yeah, yep. Which is always my favorite. I love Snatch Game. And once you get there, like everyone's good, and the top 3 is a total toss-up.
Yeah.
So it gets exciting and a little heartbreaking too.
This last episode was tough for our girl Utica.
I know.
It was a little scary. That Bob Ross impression was rough.
Yes.
But
what you guys should do is just get like a joint phone call or a phone call right after the episode happens and record like a quick 5-minute sub podcast.
Then patch it in. Patch it in the middle of our episode.
Yeah.
Although it'll be Ryan, and then it'll be my son John, because he has like tons of opinions.
Yeah,
and has a better memory than I do for back seasons and stuff.
Well, no, he can do a solo podcast commenting on that podcast.
Yeah.
And explaining why all of your opinions are wrong. Sorry,
but I will say though, I did watch one. Well, there were 2 things I think that I watched that were notable non-reality TV things this week. One was the movie Greenland, which was such a fantastic surprise. It's starring Gerard Butler, and it's exactly what you would think when you hear that. It's like a traditional disaster movie, you know, action movie, disaster movie kind of thing, but just done really well. It's like, and I don't mean like it's going to be nominated for any Oscars,
right.
But like, it's just,
but it's like a top of its genre.
Exactly.
Type.
For that genre, it kicks serious ass. And like, you know, it's VOD. I don't remember how much it was, but you know, you have to pay because it would be a theater movie right now. But we watched it over last weekend, and it was so much fun. And it was it was one of the nights. You know, I was having a rough night, and it just totally, you know, kind of took my mind off things, and it was a really, really good time, and highly recommend it.
Awesome.
And the other thing we just finished watching last night, actually, is a new docuseries on Netflix called Murder Among the Mormons.
Oh, yeah, Becky was talking about that. Yep.
Yeah.
Ryan's wife, Rebecca, and I, when we were on the patio yesterday.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Fun, like, weird story. It was one of those sort of in the same vein of like a Tiger King, where the further you get into the story, the more you're just like, whoa, this is a fucked up story. Like, they need to make a movie about this. I can't believe I never heard of it, you know? Or I can't believe I never heard this story before, because it's just so wild.
Like a Tiger King.
Like a Tiger King. But so wild. It's really good. It's only 3 episodes, which is a nice change of pace from a lot of these docuseries where they're like, you know, 9 episodes or 6 episodes. This one is pretty easy to rip through, and there's not a ton of fat in it. It's all pretty, you know, straight to the point. And, yeah, Murder Among the Mormons.
Awesome.
Gets a reco from me.
Definitely gonna have to check that out. I love seeing weird Mormon stuff.
Yeah.
So, Jen, it's been a week. Have you been busy? Have you gotten into any?
Yeah, we're back. You know, I'm a teacher, and we're back in school, so we're back doing the hybrid program, which we did the first quarter of the year. And so it's great.
The Hydra program?
Yes,
with those
Hydra.
Marvel fans.
Yep, yeah, we're fighting Captain America later. So that's kind of the finale / finals of the year. Yeah. No, it's the hybrid. So like one group of students is Monday, Tuesday. One group of students is Thursday, Friday. Wednesdays, I'm teaching like 6 classes back to back on the Chromebook from the office. So it's been good. It's been fun, but it's exhausting. And so, but it's nice to be back. But it's a new kind of tired too. So
yeah, no. Well, I hope you're being able to you know, balance well, and really appreciate you making time for this. And I hope at least it's a little bit of a relief and a way to kind of get away from everything. And,
yeah, for sure.
You know, just screw around for a while.
Yeah.
You know. I apologize. So I normally, when we get to this point, I'm always asking, you know, like, how was everybody's weekend? And Ryan, I'm glad you were open and shared, and Jen, I'm glad you were open and shared, because I didn't say that this time. I said, what have you been up to, and how has everybody been doing? Because it was kind of a weird and crappy weekend for me too. My store flooded.
Oh no.
And then on the same day, once I was frantically scrambling and got the store open, about an hour later, I had a line out the door, and I went to open the bakery case, and the door came off in the refrigerated section. So it was just hanging there. And we had some apologies for the crude term, but we had some mask holes. I've got a younger staff, and I had a lot of people that wanted to come in and be really, really mean to them, and they didn't know I was there. I'm not usually there later in the day on a Saturday, and I was happy to chase them out. And then somebody almost sideswiped me in my girlfriend's car. So
oh man.
And then they pulled over and started yelling at me, even though, yeah.
I think we need a title card of like the gang had a really long week.
Yeah.
And then it's always sunny music. Right. Da 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 da. Yep.
And I'm not here to try and sit here and complain like that. But I was just, like, I think what I'm going to try and say is just like, and it's really important. Like, I just want to know what you guys have been up to. And I think everybody, all our Pop-Tarts out there, we want to know what everybody's been up to. We don't have to necessarily focus on the weekends, because it sounds like a lot of us had a weekend, as it were. But you know what? I will tell you what I got up to. It is still the Great Minnesota Meltdown. I think, as most of us know. And I got some grilling done, and awesome. I got some chicken wings done. So it was a nice weekend to get outside. I got the dogs walked. The dogs love being walked. As lazy as they pretend to be. Ryan, it was nice to hear that you got a good Lucy walk.
Yeah. Today was I try to get Lucy out for a short walk every day at least, and then on most days when it's not like freezing or icy, Rebecca will also take Lucy for a walk. Hopefully Lucy's not listening on the other side of the door right now, or she's freaking out.
She's just heard walk a bunch of times and is losing her mind.
Sorry, that's not what I was going
but today she got a drive too, just because she was so like amped about the weather, I think, and she just wanted to be outside so bad. I had just taken her for a walk, and she was still just like, I want to be out there. So I was like, all right, come on, let's go. And I just rolled down the window and we just drove around for a little bit.
Got to get those smells in.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
That's the best. I love like her putting her head out the window and her face just like looking like a cone.
Oh, man, that might be have to be a question we put out to the Pop-Tarts one of these days, is like, if you could have one dog thing that was acceptable for you, what would it be? Would it be hanging your head out the window? Would it be
licking your genitals?
Yeah.
Pooping in the yard?
Just farting and not caring.
Yeah, we'll definitely put that out to the Pop-Tarts. Maybe the Pop-Tarts after me.
Yeah.
Well, good. Yeah, like I said, it's been a weird week for everybody. We're getting into that transition period. There's going to be a lot of people wanting to get out and get around each other, but like we hope everybody is still staying safe and taking care of themselves. And it's about to be St. Patrick's Day next week. Okay. We've got St. Patrick's Day coming up. Do you guys like? So the weird thing always for me, and Ryan, I know you've always been in the service industry. I'm not big on St. Patrick's Day food, like the Irish stew and shepherd's pie, bangers and mash. Take it or leave it. Do you guys do anything special?
I don't do anything.
Have a Reuben?
I think I like Reuben's okay.
Okay.
I make this joke every St. Patrick's Day. I say, interesting fact. Did you know that the Reuben sandwich is actually named after Reuben Studdard? And people will always go, no way. And I go, no, I'm joking. And I go, oh, okay. But yeah, Reubens are fine. I don't love them, but they're okay. Right. I think my favorite Irish food is probably Shamrock Shakes and Lucky Charms.
Yeah. Yep.
I think those are 1 and 2 in the clubhouse in that order.
It's funny.
Yeah, the rest, like the traditional Irish stuff, I'm not really a big fan of. like cabbage and corned beef
all
and
right.
stuff. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why do people want this? Just because it's a day, people are like, oh, it's St. Patrick's Day. We should go get some gross food.
Even though we're not Irish. Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
Irish, and I'm not in my 20s anymore, so, like, I don't really do anything for St. Patrick's
I
Day.
hate St. Patrick's Day. I'm totally with you,
I
Jake.
bet.
It's like
Yeah.
not even just Irish food, but just St. Patrick's Day in general. I'm like, please do away with it. Let's make a second
Yeah.
Martin Luther King Day or something.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
get rid of St. Patrick's Day.
I got nothing against the Irish by any means, and that's it. But it's not. It's a co-opted weird holiday.
Right.
Like,
yeah,
that's
it's just
the
like, let's
thing.
get
It's
drunk
not-
in the middle of the week.
Yeah.
It's other people. Yeah, it's just weird. No. The
Yeah, if
weird
you're
thing that is
Irish and you're celebrating it, I am all for
Totally.
yeah. Oh God.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got
But-
nothing against that. Sorry, I know I said that weird. I hope that's
No,
not
no, you're
misconstrued.
good, but it's just, yeah, I'm not those things, so I feel kind of weird doing anything for St. Patrick's Day, personally.
No.
And I am happy to celebrate every holiday, but
The weird thing to me always with the food aspect though is like people, stereotyping, like people always associate potatoes. And there's never been just like an amazing like potato dish associated with
Well, it's the
You know.
potato famine
Yeah.
that's associated with
right,
Ireland.
I was like, yeah.
The lack of potatoes that they're famous
still
for.
they had to
I do really like the show Dairy Girls, and that takes place in Northern Ireland, so I'll probably watch that
There you
to
go.
celebrate St. Patrick's Day.
There are definitely Irish things I love. And just not food. Food isn't one of them.
Yeah.
rainbows.
Yeah.
No, why is it always the end of the rainbow and not the beginning of the rainbow?
Yeah, good question.
I don't know. Sorry, but yes, next week is St. Patrick's Day, and I hope everybody has fun, but safe fun. Let's not go overboard as a lot of places are lifting their restrictions. So
Yeah.
just be fun with everybody. But we're in the middle of or I shouldn't say middle. We're approaching the end of our 21st century love, our favorite TV couples of the last 20 years tournament. And I wanted to kind of talk to you guys, now that we're down to our final 8 couples, we have a little extra time. What are the things that you really like about TV couples? What are your favorite tropes that you like to see? Is it do you like to see the will they won't they? Do you like to see the wedding or the engagement and wedding scenario play out? Jen, what do you really enjoy? I know, and this is probably more of a sitcom-y type question, but what do you like to see out of your TV couples?
I like the trope where, like, the past, like, girlfriend or boyfriend comes into the picture, not even in a romantic way, but I always really enjoy that. And I always enjoy, like, there's often, like, the flashback episodes where you get to see them, as younger people, and I always love it when that happens. And especially because you've got, like, actors and actresses who are, like, clearly in their 30s. And they've just got, like, a wig on
Yeah.
and outdated clothes. And we're just supposed to buy it that they're, like, 18. Yeah. I
That
always
is a
enjoy
good-
that.
yeah. Everybody likes a good costume going back. And you have so many good opportunities nowadays with, like, the 2000s character going back to their 90s dorm room, or the millennials nowadays going back to their pre-smartphone days, and
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of good ones. Ryan, is there anything that really sticks out for you?
Well, I guess for me, my favorite type of couple, I guess, is the yin and yang kind of couples,
Yeah.
where they're like really different, but they really they really balance the family sort of, you know. The first couple that popped in my mind, and really I'm thinking of the matriarch, not the star, but the Huxtables. I'm thinking of Claire Huxtable, but like, you know, and
we can say Voldemort.
We talked about Dre and Bo from Blackish.
Yeah.
I think that's a great example. But you know these kinds of I think Modern Family, the lead. I think really all
Eleanor
the couples
and
in
Chidi,
Modern Family
too. Are big like opposites.
Yep.
So
yeah, I think both Mitchell and Cam and Ty Burrell and Julie Bowen. I'm drawing a blank on their characters' names, but you know they're both kind of they together make a really happy house, even though they're kind of like one is more like the jokester and the other is the disciplinarian, or one is the you know,
type A and
crazy,
one is very,
type A and type B, whatever that may, however that may present itself. I think those are generally the couples that I think I learn the most from, or I try to like, you know, be inspired by,
emulate. Yeah.
But I definitely, you know, the will they won't they thing is definitely like an epic trope that's been around forever, and like, you know, Moonlighting, Cheers, so many classic, The Office.
Well, that's the weird thing. Like I was gonna say, like there's so many. It's almost like a generational thing. Like, you know, in this tournament, we're talking about everything, you know, 2000 and on. There's a lot of these tropes that were so popular back in the day, and they don't necessarily. There have been a few successes of them, but they're not as, you know, worn out nowadays as they used to be. Right, Ryan, you said like the will they won't they. We didn't have as much of that in this tournament, but man, we've got some really classic couples like the ones you brought up, and I like that too. How do you guys feel like about the a classic one, like you do a whole wedding season or a whole children, or we're pregnant or we're trying to adopt, or whatever. So I called it a child season. Like, it's definitely worn territory, but sometimes warranted, right?
I'm not a big fan usually. I feel like anytime you take the formula and change it, it has a tendency to look like jumping the shark.
I don't know, man. I the more I think about it, I really want to jump over a shark.
It is really weird that we talk about that as a bad thing, because I would like to see more of that in television right now.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty badass, jumping over a shark. Like, you could fall down in the middle of that jump and get eaten by that shark.
Yeah, and the Fonz did it on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Which is even cooler.
I think it was on skis, but we'll call it motorcycle skis.
Okay. All right. Was it jet skis? Damn it. All right. Well, that's even cooler than a motorcycle.
Skis.
Yeah.
It was skis with a motorcycle painted on.
Probably. I'm sure he was wearing his jacket. I don't know. It's been a long time.
Most definitely. So, yeah, you know, everybody loves jumping the shark. We got off topic there. Couple tropes, but yeah, like Ryan, you said, I have to agree a little bit. It's fun when they take those quick, you know, you can use the wedding, you can use the child or whatever. I also like Temptation episodes.
Oh, okay.
Those are always fun, and that's getting a little more into the drama episodes, but it's always fun to bring in an alternate and see what happens with those characters. Speaking of characters, let's get into our tournament. We are now into our final few matchups that will determine our final four and our ultimate champion before our next episode. And just so everybody knows, we will have a new tournament out later this week that will start next week.
Woohoo!
We're going to keep it a little secret at this point just because we're just finalizing it. So, but it is going to be a fun one, and I think everybody will enjoy it. But before that, we do have a, like I said, final 8 pairing, or final 8 entrants and final 4 pairings here for each quadrant. And going on today, as we're recording this, we have David and Patrick versus Nick and Jess. Now, this, for me, I was surprised to see Nick and Jess here. They took down some...
They did. I am really shocked. I didn't think they'd make it necessarily, like, even past the first round.
Right.
So.
I talked to one of my coworkers who's 19. She's a hostess or a wait assist at the restaurant I work at, and I showed her right when we did the bracket, or when we first finished it. I said, "Oh, here's the podcast I do. This is like what we do on there. This is the new bracket." And she's like, "Oh, cool." And she looked and she's like, "Oh, my favorite couple is definitely Nick and Jess." And in my head, I'm like, "Who?"
Yeah.
But that shows, I mean, generationally, that is a huge show.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. Cause,
I don't. Sorry, I'm not trying. Go ahead, Jen.
Oh, well, yeah, we were just kind of the generation, like specifically that it was aimed at. And I feel like people watched it. But even towards the end, it was kind of like, it's been on too long. It's just fine. It dropped off. It wasn't as good. They're all annoying, like, by the end of it. And then it just, like, hasn't been talked about a ton, like, a little bit. But it's, kind of dropped off. And so that's really funny that, a much younger generation has picked it up and really connected with it. So,
yeah.
Indeed.
Awesome.
It's definitely interesting. And I definitely think, we, again... on past episodes, we all saw David and Patrick in this spot. And as the voting is going, as we record this, they're dominating the matchup.
Yeah.
Which, again, I think we all saw, but I think after this, they've got some really, really tough matchups, whether it be in the next match, and if they get back or past that, the match after that. But we're really getting down here, so who they will be going up against, if everything still plays out today, will be either April and Andy from Parks and Recreation or Homer and Marge from The Simpsons.
That's gonna be a tough one.
Yes, and that's the thing. Now we're getting into the heavyweights, and this was great job, Pop-Tarts, to all of you. I think there's a couple of surprises, but I think we really, really did a good job with this one. But so April and Andy, Homer and Marge, a lot of steam behind both of these couples. Ryan, I know where you lean, but how are you viewing this matchup?
It's tough. I know we've talked about this before, but I feel like it's tough to view Homer and Marge through the lens of 2000s couples, and say, okay, so I can't think about the first 10 seasons of The Simpsons. Now how do I feel about them? It's hard to separate that. So for us who are, think about the minutia of this tournament and go, okay, well, this is an easy one. They're, April and Andy are like a quote unquote top seed in our minds, and Homer and Marge are probably like a 3 or 4 seed or something, maybe a 2 seed. I don't know. But I think April and Andy should be a slam dunk, but Homer and Marge are just omnipresent. They're like on another level of fame and, recognition. Like, people can just
they've been married for 30 years. Like,
there you go.
Yeah, Jen, are you leaning one way or another, Jen, yourself?
I mean, it's interesting because, like, this is probably the one couple where I would not want to be in a relationship or, like, with any of the people in that competition.
What? You're not a Marge lover?
I mean, she's great. But no, I don't think I'd want her as my wife, and I wouldn't want April as my wife. Definitely, I would have very little patience for Andy. But especially Andy before he was paired with April on the show. Like, first 2 seasons of Andy was trash. So Homer Simpson has always been trash. Like, it's just, yeah, I don't know. I know you guys love him. He's like, he's the worst part of The Simpsons to me.
I see a golden opportunity for a round of fuck, marry, kill here. But
all right.
I feel like maybe we should move on.
I don't know. Oh boy, I'm not gonna spend time defending Homer here, because there are plenty of examples of what you said, Jen.
Yeah, we got into that muck during the dad tourney.
Yeah, it's interesting. I real quick, I will say, April and Andy barely scraped by beating Bob and Linda from Bob's Burgers. Bob, always the loser, Bob.
Yeah.
That's probably what Jimmy Pesto would say right before he stormed the Capitol. So, any insiders will get that joke.
Yeah.
But the thing I love about this matchup, though, I think like Homer and Andy would probably be the best of friends.
Yeah,
definitely very similar.
They'd be great neighbors, and I think at least like early on, April, like she would love to hang out with Marge, and she would, you're very dark, aren't you? That'd be the April, and I don't know. It's a fun matchup.
It is a fun matchup.
I have no idea how it's going to happen, and that's the thing. David and Patrick are going to have to face the winner of that matchup. I think that'll be their first. No matter who wins, that'll be their first really, really tough test. Over on the other side, we have, and this is so cool. We have the matchup of the talking to the camera shows.
Okay. Yep.
Jim and Pam from The Office, and Ben and Leslie from Parks and Rec. It's perfect. They talk to the camera about each other.
Yeah, both must see TV on Thursday nights. Yep. They were the staples of some NBC Thursday nights. Yep.
Parks and Rec was kind of born out of the Americanized version of The Office, but I gotta say, I'm leaning Ben and Leslie here. Jen, what do you think?
I'll vote for sure. I'll vote Ben and Leslie. I think they're a couple that got funnier as they were together, whereas I feel like Jim and Pam got less funny as characters once they ended the will they, won't they storyline. Okay. So that's my reasoning. Again, I adore both shows, but that's my reasoning for voting for Ben and Leslie. But I definitely think Jim and Pam could take it.
You think they've got the momentum?
I think they might. Yeah. I feel like Jim and Pam, they're either going to go out in the first round because people are like kind of done with The Office and against and looking at that, relationship as a little bit more toxic than we did before, but they didn't. So now I think they might take it for this side. Yeah.
Interesting. Ryan, NBC Showdown.
I pretty much agree with every word Jenny just said. So
I'm brilliant. What can I say?
Yeah. I will say if this was Ben and Leslie against, oh God, I just had his name in my head. Roy and Pam.
Yeah.
I might vote differently. But no, I'm just kidding. I'll vote Ben and Leslie for all the same reasons Jenny just highlighted. I think, they're just such a fun couple, And they're one of those opposite E kind of couples too. You know, that the scavenger hunt, and there's so many great moments with them. I just love them.
Even though he doesn't understand why everyone loves little Sebastian so much, they still find a way to make it work.
Eventually. I see, and that's the thing. I honestly think that I'm not going to say it's not going to be close, but I think this will be a little heavier, or I hope this will be a little heavier to Ben and Leslie than Jim and Pam. Than you guys say, and every time I've disagreed with the two of you, I've been completely wrong. So I apologize. But I really hope so, because I do love, and we've got extra time, so we can get a little more in depth with these couples. I absolutely love Ben and Leslie's relationship. They really do come to understand each other. Ryan, I'm so glad you brought up little Sebastian. I also have a little Sebastian t-shirt, so I love my t-shirts. And who doesn't love a tiny horse?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like theirs is one of the most just pure, it's not, it's, Leslie's a little quirky, but they just absolutely love each other. They're just two people that found each other, that absolutely love each other for who they are, and I love that. I'm not gonna lie, I definitely. Go ahead.
They had to fight for it, like in the face of losing everything. That's some Outlander shit. I don't know anything about Outlander, but I would imagine.
But I'm assuming they have to fight.
I love that. From now on, when you have to fight for love, you just refer to it as some Outlander shit.
Outlander shit. I haven't seen the show, but I assume.
Well, and even after they got together, they had the whole fight about being on government property and off government property, and like.
Yeah, no, they definitely were two characters that put a lot of effort into their relationship always. And I love that.
And I love how committed both of them are to not only each other, but making everybody's life better. Like they're actually good people. That's the fun thing about them. I'm not saying Jim and Pam aren't, but at some point, Jim works for like a sports endorsement company,
marketing company.
Yeah. Fuck that bullshit. Sorry.
I barely even remember that. Like that part of The Office is just like erased from my mind.
Yeah.
After Steve Carell left, it was just like...
That's a good place to stop.
Yeah.
That's just advised.
The only reason I remember is because it was one of the few points that they finally gave Craig Robinson his due, so... Tomato, tomato.
Yeah.
All right, one more matchup to get to. And we could spend 30 seconds or we could spend 30 minutes on this one, because this is the most bizarre matchup in my opinion. I'm not trying to take away anything from either of these couples, but when we started this tournament, if you said these two were going for a spot in the final four, and I think the more likely one I would say is Eleanor and Chidi from The Good Place, but coming out of our play-in.
Play-in.
First had to be voted into the play-ins. And then got into a play-in. We have Monica and Chandler from Friends. Ryan, go. Sorry.
This reminds me so much of actual March Madness. Like those teams that are like from a major conference and they have like a 500 record or something, but they get in by the skin of their teeth, and they have like a solid team, but they were dealing with injuries and stuff throughout the year. And then they just like go on a run, and all of a sudden like people are kind of seeing them for the first time. And all of a sudden it's like, wow, I had no idea.
And you're describing Monica and Chandler right now.
Yes. Completely. And it was funny. I remember when we first posted the bracket, people saying, by people, I mean a person in the comment section saying Monica and Chandler should be the higher seed. They're the better couple. So I don't know.
You're right, Pop-Tart. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know this. And again, Eleanor and Chidi, fantastic. I'm not taking anything away from them. They were automatically in this quadrant.
And good saying, place, great show. Ended at like perfect time, like super strong throughout. And, Yep. And it's great because they were kind of paired up at the beginning as like the soulmates, even though they didn't like have anything in common and like each other, and then like grew together. Like, yeah, it was definitely a nice evolution with them, and they're the fun like odd couple, another odd couple type.
And also will they, won't they sort of.
Yeah.
I almost feel like whoever wins this match is going to win the tournament. Like it's that weird. Like
they're the bittersweet symphony of
it does feel like there's some magic in this.
Do you believe in magic?
Yep.
Again, you guys just sing away. We're not worried about lawsuits. This is 2021. This is the year of not giving a fuck. So I don't know. I was really hoping at the end of all of this that, now that we're talking about the 4 matchups for the Final Four, I thought that we could do a prediction, because when we record our next episode, we're going to have a winner. But I really don't know. I don't know if,
it's going to be David and Patrick.
That's the easy. That's the easy money, but
it is. I like easy money.
I'm going to go with Ben and Leslie.
All right.
Oh, you stole that from me. I have to be different.
Go with Monica and Chandler.
Yeah.
Nope. I'm gonna go with Eleanor and Chidi.
All right.
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna be cheering for April and Andy. I think that's. I mean, for me, it's. I want the Parks and Rec showdown, but.
You know what Monica and Chandler have though that a lot of these other people don't? Fundamentals. They play good defense. They're good at free throws.
They pass the ball.
Yeah, they're great at passing.
In their defense, like in the show, like the episode where the other people are finding out that they've been dating for a long time is one of Friends' like top 3 episodes of the whole run of the show. They're like, we don't know, they don't know, we know, they know that we know. Like that episode was brilliant, and is anyone who's been a fan of Friends, like that's one of the like top 5 episodes. So it's like I could see why they're still there, and Friends is still like a huge show. Like with my middle schoolers, they all watch Friends. Or did, and they like now that it's not on Netflix, I imagine like it'll go down. But when it was on Netflix, they were very into Friends and they were very into The Office for some reason. So those 2 shows like resonated with my middle schoolers.
Your middle schoolers don't know how to find this podcast, do they?
They do not. No.
Fingers crossed. Well, what I'm going to say, I think. At least with these Final Four, it's what people can, or at least hope to relate to the most. It's gonna be really close. I am so happy with what the Pop-Tarts have voted on, and just so interested to see what happens here, but. It's going to be a crazy one.
Yeah, it's been a fun tournament for sure. One of my favorites. Good times.
Yeah. Yeah. Good times all around.
Good Elite 8. Yep.
And I just want to say real quick, I've been so swamped with work and life that I've been not able to keep up on the daily, writing and, posting, keeping track of things. So I just want to publicly thank both of you guys for like putting in extra work to keep everything going.
Oh, it's
smoothly.
been all Jake.
Yeah, Jake especially, like doing the copy every day.
It's been so
You've
fun.
been my hero.
You find like such neat connections between the characters. Like, yeah, great job, Jacob Wicker.
No, they're making me sound so great, but I want everybody to know I've been sending such obscenity-laced text messages and complaints to both of these people. Like, I'm so surprised that we're still friends because of all of the things I've been saying to them. No,
Not at all.
Don't worry, guys. I'm just so happy that, again, that people listen, that people vote. Like, I really want this to be a fun thing for everybody, and it is the one thing that, like, kind of like everybody usually so we record on Mondays, and everybody usually associates like Mondays are the worst. And
Mondays.
Once I get through my shift, I am so looking forward to Mondays because I get to talk to, and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to sound weird, but like, at least talking wise, my two best friends in the world, and it means so much to me. So don't worry a thing, and thank you also so much. And I really hope everybody out there listening gets such a kick out of this as we do. So yeah, thank you, Ryan. Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. I'm bad. Sorry, I'm bad at taking.
It's tough.
Should we go back to making fun of you, Onion Head?
Hey, at least you didn't call me Godboy.
I've got to keep calling you that too.
Oh man!
Although I called you Jesus Boy earlier by mistake, so now I'm gonna have to call you like Holy Ghost Boy too. Just, it's the whole Trinity.
Church guy.
Complete the trade.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, anybody else want to come on the podcast? I'm looking for two new. I'm just kidding. I love you guys so much. So
Love you too.
for everybody in the Pop Tournaments community, please keep on voting and keep on popping.
Papa.
Bye, friends.
Bye.
Get ready for Prince.
Woo!